Almost every single YouTuber that posts a video quits before they get anywhere near monetization. As a matter of fact, not even 9% of YouTube channels that have posted a video have reached 1,000 subscribers. Many less than even that are monetized, but that doesn't have to be you. There is a proven method to winning on YouTube. In this video, I'll break that down so you don't add to those negative statistics. I've personally witnessed dozens of small channels absolutely explode following this method, so let's jump into it right now. First off, we have to get something important out of the way. Posting once a week might not be enough. If you're like me, you might devote a set amount of hours on a specific day to work on YouTube. If you miss one day of this during your week, you might have your entire routine thrown off and not post a video that week. If you miss one upload, sometimes this might discourage you and you spiral out of control and just stop posting altogether. It's happened to me, it's happened to the biggest creators out there, so I'm gonna guess that you are probably not an exception. Good intentions do not equal results. You have to keep creating. Alex Hormozy, who is an absolute wizard at business, especially online business, using YouTube, has a quote that I want to give you. He says that if necessity is the mother of invention, then repetition is the father of skill. What does this mean? It means keep posting, keep creating content, keep it up. If you keep going, the sheer amount of willpower you put into your YouTube channel will lead to skill. And once you have skill at posting, that's when you blow up. So yes, I am wholeheartedly encouraging you that if you only have one channel especially, you need to post twice a week, or at least aim for it. If you aim for twice a week, you might miss an upload every once in a while, but you'll probably still have like 70 videos at the end of the year, and that puts you ahead of most of your competition. Now, it is important that you avoid burnout, but we're going to talk about that more later on. In the meantime, there's a vidIQ study that they recently did on YouTube growth, YouTube success. They said that people that post 12 or more times per month grow 53% faster than those that only post like 1 to 3 videos per month. Now, the same study does say that around 5 uploads per month leads to about 12% growth percentages, however they calculated that, as opposed to like 16% of those who post 12 or more times a month. So get a little bit more than 5 and you'll be great. Like I said though, my advice to you for your mentality, for your mental health, post twice a week, or at least aim for it. Post as much as you can while keeping the quality of your video up. Post at least once a week, but preferably 2 until you blow up. And once you do this consistently for long enough, you will. Once you have one video blow up, you have an entire backlog of videos on your channel that you can have all your viewers from that exploded video go binge. Once they binge that content, now you're a YouTuber. Now, I do believe that you have to be lucky to explode on YouTube, but not lucky in the traditional sense of the word. As the American hero General George Patton once said, there's no such thing as luck, merely opportunity meeting preparedness. In other words, if somebody is prepared for that explosion of opportunity, like a one video blowing up, going viral, then that's when you get lucky. That's when you blow up on YouTube. That's when you have the viral viewers go back and binge your other videos. YouTube's going to recommend that to them once they subscribe. Now, we're going to talk about the bingeability factor of your video here in just a second, but right now let's look at a case study. I have seen this exact strategy happen in real time watching a channel that I got recommended like a year and a half ago. There's this guy named Ethan on Everything. This guy did not start YouTube until May of 2024. As of early December 2025, he has 276,000 subscribers. Guess how many videos he's posted in that amount of time? 287. That's an average of about 5 videos per week. Now, that's insane quantity, but you can take some lessons from this. Once one singular video of his blew up, his whole channel did. He had such a backlog of videos on his channel that everybody, myself included, that watched one of his videos that exploded went back and watched all the rest of them, and now he has a complete career as a YouTuber. He still posts an average of 5 videos a week, and it's an absolute masterclass of YouTube that he puts on. This guy's absolutely incredible, and maybe one day I'll get his insights on YouTube growth because he's a genius in my mind. Now, on a side note, educational content might actually be easier to do this than entertainment content, and this guy is entertainment. Educational content, you pretty much can sit down at a camera and talk for 30 minutes, edit the footage down, and post it. You have to do a little bit of editing, but not much. It's really easy to post twice a week on an educational channel like this one. Entertainment videos take a lot longer to edit and produce than other videos, so if you're doing a highly edited, produced entertainment channel, you might not post twice a week. You might post once. No matter what you do, you need to establish a posting schedule and you need to stick to it no matter what. I'll talk about a schedule later on in this video, but now let's talk about bingeability that we mentioned earlier. When you make every single video on your YouTube channel, you need to have them in the same format. Now, what that means is if you're doing talking head videos about personal finance, every single video needs to be a talking head video about personal finance. You have to have similar ideas, or at least the big idea behind your channel. It needs to adhere to that same topic. You need to solve one specific problem for one specific type of person. If you're entertaining them by talking about their favorite cartoon, you need to talk about that cartoon every single time you post. Or video game, if you're a Minecraft channel, do that. It needs to be in the same format. You don't want to switch from a talking head video to a vlog. Nobody wants to see a different type of video every single time they visit a channel. It's like watching a TV show that you tune into once a week, and one day it's a comedy that's in the style of like a traditional sitcom, and the next it's a drama documentary. That's not the same. Nobody wants to see that. An underrated part about video format is also keeping them around the same length. You don't want to switch from a 20-minute episode of TV to a 45-minute the next time and then back and forth. Keep it the same. And like I said a while ago, keep videos on the same general idea. When you're thinking about that specific person that you're going to solve that specific problem for, you need to write down their characteristics, their age, their interests, why they're watching your videos, what value you're going to provide to them. Refer back to that every single time you make a video and you'll pretty much be golden. For example, I'm making videos for guys in their early 20s, late teens, stuff like that want to succeed on YouTube. From there, I can make a list of topics that they might be interested in watching videos about. So like YouTube thumbnails, YouTube growth strategy, editing tips, stuff like that. Once you have all of this mapped out, all you have to do is start making videos for them. You can get an absolutely endless list of video ideas by just using the outlier method. Now, what is the outlier method? Find videos that are outliers, so videos that have greatly performed on YouTube. They perform way better than that channel's average views. You can find these by using vidIQ's Chrome extension, or there's a number of other tools like 1 of 10, Velio, stuff like that. Find these videos that have blown up, the videos that are working in your niche and in adjacent niches. So I'm in YouTube success. Maybe I'd look in business or personal finance or self-development, stuff like that. Once you find these videos that have a similar format to yours, you basically just steal it like an artist. You look at the framework that these videos have created, so their title and their thumbnail, and you put your topic into that framework. I once made a video titled YouTube Success for Idiots Like Me. There's an outlier video about personal finance called Personal Finance for Idiots Like Me. Now, mine didn't perform as well as theirs, but theirs was like a 300-time outlier video for that channel. It was a proven concept, so you take that concept, plug it into yours, and you have a great chance of blowing up because it's proven. You may not get it the first try or the 30th try, but you eventually will blow up. You can model their thumbnails as well for the packaging. Like, I just basically inserted my topic into that title, into that thumbnail, and that was that. You could also experiment with your own thumbnails. I'm not saying don't do that, but if you do that, use like traditional thumbnail advice. You want your face on there with some sort of expression. You want bright, bold text that stands off from the background, and you want it to be easily readable. If somebody that's scrolling through their YouTube homepage cannot understand your thumbnail, you've already lost. It has to catch their eye. They have to be able to read it, and there you go. They'll click on it. Once they click on it, that's when you have to move to the next step, which is the hook, that first 30 to 60 seconds of your video. First thing you need to do is immediately confirm your title and thumbnail. What does that mean? You need to go into your first sentence talking about what the title of the video is, basically. You restate the title of your video, or at least similarly talk about it, so that somebody that clicks into your video knows that they're watching the same video. In that second sentence, you want to talk a little bit more about the topic, and then in the third or even the second half of the second sentence, you move forward with the pattern interrupt and twist into the value that you're going to provide your viewer. After you do that, you go into your credibility statement, which basically means, why should somebody watch your videos? Well, you have to tell them. The best example I have in the world for hooks is just Alex Hormozy. Click into one of his videos. I promise you he's going to say something similar to the title of his video. He's going to talk about it for a little bit, then he's going to give you that credibility statement. He's going to say that I've scaled 1 million businesses to trillions of dollars, and that's why you should listen to me. You should listen to him, by the way. He's a genius, but Anyway, that's how you do it. Now, if you're not a genius like him, if you haven't grown 3 YouTube channels to 3 million subscribers like Mr. Beast, you have to use something called research credibility. Now, research credibility is whenever you say that you've studied something, and that's why you can provide the value to your audience, and that's what I use. I literally obsess over YouTube analytics and channels that blow up on YouTube and the strategies they use. I study all that, and then I compile it into these videos and give them to you. That's why you should listen to me. I haven't grown a YouTube channel to 150 million subs like Mr. Beast. The real credibility I have on this is by studying. You can use something similar to that if you're an educational channel trying to teach somebody something that you haven't actually done yet. Now, on a side note, I have a complete hook/intro worksheet that literally lines out everything I've been talking about for you. I'll throw it at the first link in the description. All you have to do is click the link down there, give me your email address, and you download that. Use it every single time you make a video, and you'll have killer hooks. I promise. All right, now that you've got the hook down, it's time to get a little bit controversial. Writing a full script is not necessary, in my opinion. Now, if you're just starting out on YouTube and you're not that good at talking yet, it might be a good idea to write out a full script and memorize the lines or read off a teleprompter until you get good at speaking. The problem with this is that it looks more rigid, less authentic. It's like you're not being your true self. That's okay for some niches like documentaries and stuff like that, but that's not what you're really going for, especially if you're watching this channel. Eventually, everybody's goal on YouTube should be to kind of talk off the cuff, unless it's like a video essay. That's different. What I like to do is write out an outline. I write out bullet points and then I riff off of those. One reason this is so important to me is it frees up so much more of my time that I'm not scripting word for word what I'm going to say on a video. I just write down some bullet points and then talk about them. The more time I have to create content means that I get to produce more content, and that's what I care about the most. More time creating content means more content out there, which means more chances to grow. Now, when you're writing out this outline, you want to make sure that your points are sequential and that they actually make sense, follow some sort of narrative. That's pretty much common sense for anybody that wrote a 5th grade essay or something. Now, something you do want to include in your outline is some little teasers for what's going to happen later on in the video. For example, I said something about the bingeability of these videos that you're creating earlier in this video. I said we're going to talk about them later on. Then we talked about them later on. That's a teaser. That's by far the easiest way to do this, especially if you're not making like entertainment content. Somebody like Mr. Beast has a totally different way of doing this than I do, and he's a genius at it, but that's not my style. What you're basically doing is creating an open loop in your video. You're telling them that you're going to talk about this thing that's very cool, very important to them later on in the video, so they watch until later on in the video. I also said earlier that we're going to talk about creator burnout here in a little bit, and we're about to get there, but stick with me until then. There's your perfect example. When you're finishing your outline, make sure that your closing or your call to action is short. You don't want to go on for 3 minutes ending the video. You want to tell your viewer what to do and end it. What you might want them to do is to click another video on the end screen, or maybe to subscribe, or maybe to click on the first link in the description to get the hooks worksheet. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You want to make it one thing so that the viewer doesn't have to make a choice. You give them one option. They do that. It's been proven, which is weird, but if people are given a choice, sometimes they just quit. They don't want to make a choice. They don't do either. They click off. So you make it easy for them. You give them one option. Now let's talk about editing for a little bit. You don't need to go crazy whenever you're editing your videos. You're not making videos for Mr. Beast's audience, or at least probably not, because if you are, good luck. You do want to include a pattern interrupt every now and again so that you keep your viewers' attention. Now, what a pattern interrupt might be a zoom in or a zoom out, or throwing some B-roll on screen, or throwing some text across the screen. I have a whole video about retention-based editing, which is just this stuff. So if you're interested, I'll link it at a card in the top left or right, wherever that goes. But don't watch that until after this video, because we're about to get to the really important stuff. Now, if you happen to be an educational YouTuber trying to teach somebody how to do something, you don't even have to do this type of editing very often. You can pretty much just talk about your stuff, cut out the pauses and stuff like that, and put some important stuff on screen, sure, but you ain't got to go crazy with it. If you're trying to teach somebody something that's in depth, they need to have a good attention span anyway. So if they're not, they probably don't really fit your channel anyway, and there's no point in having their view. That sounds controversial, but I promise you it's true. Now, for the important stuff. Develop a schedule and stick to it. Like I said earlier, I highly recommend you just jump in. You make 2 videos a week. That is, unless it's a highly produced entertainment video or something like that. I promise you, if you're just trying to make 1 video a week, you're going to miss an upload and you're going to get discouraged and you're going to quit. It happens to everybody. It's happened to me multiple times. If you shoot for 2 videos a week, you will at least get 1 out there, unless you're on an island somewhere with no internet connection. Now, if you happen to be able to make more than 2 videos per week, that's great, but I recommend you stockpile those for when you inevitably miss a video. If you have a backlog of videos to post, you're golden. You're not going to miss an upload. You're a YouTuber, dude. I'm telling you, that's highly skilled stuff. Now, you've been waiting for it. I've been waiting to talk about it because it's very important and it goes hand in hand with this strategy. Burnout. Burnout has been happening to hard workers for all of eternity. You know the difference between creator burnout and traditional work burnout? Traditional workers can't just quit for the most part. They have to get up and go to work regardless. You think a farmer can go out there and not check his chickens? No, they will die. Creators happen to have the option to stop making videos because they're burned out. In my mind, I say that sucks for you, but you need to man up and make the videos. In an ideal world, you have these videos stockpiled anyway. You know, you have 1 or 2 videos for a grace period. You can take a week off eventually once you get there. You take that week off for your mental health, then you jump right back into it and you keep creating, because that is the key to being truly successful on YouTube. When those stockpiled videos run out, you better get busy. Now, at that point, if you still don't feel like making content, if you're just completely drained and you don't want to do this anymore, that's okay too. You just might not be in the right profession, and that's okay. You can make YouTube a hobby and you can post every now and again, but don't expect success. Not great success anyway. It's just not how it works. Now, once again, I'm speaking from my personal experience. I've been the guy that's not been cut out for it multiple times. You don't know how many YouTube channels I've had in the past that had great momentum but completely fell down the drain. Whenever I take massively long breaks from them, it just stops. Everything that's been happening, that's been blowing you up, it's just over. And you don't want that to happen. Think of Sisyphus rolling that great boulder up a mountain for all of eternity. If he stops pushing, he won't make any progress. He's probably just going to roll all the way back down the hill. It's literally no different. You have to keep the ball rolling. That's not to say you can't stop rolling uphill for a little bit every now and again to catch your breath. But once you stop altogether, it's going to be hard to gain momentum back. Once you give yourself some slack, it's hard to start something as hard as YouTube again. That is the small channel trap. Stopping before you have enough momentum to go the distance is why 99% of small channels fail to grow on YouTube. It's why 99% never even see 1,000 subscribers. If you want some help implementing this complete system so that you don't ever have to worry about failing on YouTube ever again, click this video linked on screen. It's a much more in-depth version of this system, and I promise you, if you follow it to a T, you will reach that 1,000 subscriber mark and much more eventually. You'll have to stick to it because that's just part of it, but you'll get there. I almost promise you. I won't promise you because you never know what might happen. You might die tomorrow. I might die today. Who knows? Until next video, peace.